Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Here I post fashion, lifestyle, college, and business content. Feel free to subscribe to follow me on this crazy journey. Since I'm obviously as qualified as Jeff Bezos, today's video is going to be all about how I started my business and any tips and tricks I have for you guys because this journey is definitely crazy. I'm going to share my process of how I run my business and literally every aspect of it, from finances, social media, marketing, you know the deal. There's so much to go over. I split up this video in different sections so you can come back and use it as a reference, and I hope that would be helpful for you guys. So I started my business in 2020 and I was around 17 years old, and it was during the pandemic. The idea started in March. As I did more research, I officially launched my shop in August of 2020. So I literally started a business while the economy was falling apart, but it ended up being the best decision I've ever made. I started off with no knowledge of business whatsoever. So grateful, and I was able to gain 7,000 followers across all social media platforms, and I've sent over 1,000 orders through my Etsy, Depop, and in-person vending events. So I think I'm somewhat qualified to give you guys some advice. I obviously don't have an empire of a business, but I'm willing to share all of the knowledge I've gained to just help people who have a creative idea. My goal is to outline everything for you in an easily digestible way so you can grow your business to be equally as successful or maybe even more successful than mine is. So let's just get right into it. First, we're going to discuss the concept and my story. I always knew I wanted to start a business, but I never thought it would end up being at the time it happened. Especially during the pandemic, I had a lot of free time, so that definitely helped me develop my idea. My business is called Simply Sky Co, and we carry a wide variety of handmade jewelry, which is all hand assembled by myself. We have beaded necklaces, rings, earrings, and I would say our aesthetic ranges from celestial to minimal jewelry. And we also have a pearl and opal jewelry line. As a kid, I was always involved in the arts and I loved to paint, do arts and crafts. I remember I used to create these loom bracelets and also some friendship bracelets for my friends when I was little. And I also started a slime business, which was really short-lived, and it was in 9th grade. So I guess I always had that like entrepreneurial mindset. Fast forward to 2020, Michael's, which is a craft store, was having a huge sale. So me and my mom went and we literally purchased like a whole bunch of crystals, beads, and stuff like that. So I really loved to make jewelry during the pandemic just to pass time. I actually made a few pieces and posted them on my Instagram, and a few of my friends were wondering where I got them. I realized people really liked my creations, and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to just start a business. And jewelry is obviously a very competitive industry. There's so many brands out there, so I knew I had to stand out in some way. I began to analyze my consumption behavior in the past. I used to order jewelry from fast fashion websites like Shein and also Brandy Melville because I thought I could get a bunch of different designs at a more affordable price. However, after wearing my Shein necklace for literally one day, my whole entire neck went scratchy, and I realized that this low quality material is not only just a waste of money, but it's also very harmful to the environment because you end up throwing away your necklace after like 2 or 3 wears. And at the same time, I wasn't able to afford multiple solid gold pieces of jewelry. I knew that many other kids my age weren't able to afford it as well. So I did a lot of research to find a material that was good quality but also at an affordable price point, and I discovered gold fill. And gold fill jewelry basically has a base metal. It can be stainless steel or brass, and it has a thick layer of gold, and gold fill definitely lasts a much longer time and it doesn't tarnish. So I decided to make my line out of that material. After that, I began to source supplies and just design products, which is my favorite part. And I started posting a lot of videos on TikTok, and I'd say TikTok completely changed the trajectory of my business. A few of my videos went viral and I started getting orders. However, it definitely took me a while to get to this point. I completely shifted my TikTok strategy, and at first I was literally getting 4 views and like 1 order per month. It took a lot of persistence to get to where I am right now. I would say little me would be super proud of launching this business. It's definitely more than just a source of income for me. While getting that bread is pretty darn good, I definitely think launching this business has given me more confidence. I feel more fulfilled because I get to create something for people and make them happy. Just in general, just packing orders and knowing they're going to a new home warms my heart and just really motivates me to continue doing this. So now that you know you want to start a business, let's get into the planning and creation process. Before starting any kind of business, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Here are a few questions to ask yourself. The first one is, what are your ideas? How developed are your ideas? And if you have multiple ideas, what are the pros and cons of each? Number two, I think it's really useful to understand what kind of problems your product is attempting to address. How does it differ from similar products or services on the market? And how will consumers be drawn to your brand? The biggest tip I have for you is to think about the bigger picture behind your business and what you want your brand to really represent. Having a vision behind your business is so important because it will motivate you and will provide you with a greater sense of purpose behind what you're working towards. So like I said before, I was really trying to differentiate my jewelry brand from other brands. Many of the Instagram famous jewelry brands are not only overpriced, but their products also irritate the skin and are also harmful to the environment because they're thrown away so fast. So I wanted to focus my efforts on creating a brand that uses non-tarnished materials while also reasonably pricing my products so they're more affordable. My overall tip to finding your solution is to find the issues that are already present in the market you're interested in, and to just also look back to your own experiences. And I also believe it's super important that your personal values are reflected in your brand. And I'm personally a huge advocate for sustainable fashion and just preserving the environment. So I sought to be as sustainable as possible. And I did that by using packaging made from 100% recyclable materials. And I also try my best to source from local suppliers. And I also donate a percentage of my profits to various charities throughout the year. So the third thing you need to think about are your finances and what you are willing to invest in your business, whether you need to save up or take on a loan. The fourth thing you need to think about is time, just to see if you're able to balance your current obligations with running your business. And the fifth thing, and probably the most important thing, is about commitment. So you need to ask yourself if you're passionate about the work that you're doing, what is driving you to run your business, and are you dedicated to following through on this project? Now we're going to talk about developing your brand. You start off with an idea that you're passionate about. However, that idea may be vague in the beginning, so the best way to organize your thoughts is through a business plan, and you can find many kinds of templates online. And I filled my business plan out with my mission statement, my core values, all my financial expenses, and other important factors. But your brand is also the personality that your business gives off and what kind of vibe you want it to portray to the world. I think Pinterest is a great way to figure out the mood of your brand, and I created a bunch of boards just to pin different pictures that really resemble how I wanted my brand to feel and look like. And while you're figuring out your brand aesthetic, you must be cohesive with it. Figure out your brand colors, the fonts, the various symbols and images that really resonate with you. For my brand, I went with a more minimal and neutral aesthetic to embody dainty, timeless jewelry. So now we're gonna get into supplies and production. I've actually never had formal jewelry training. I learned everything through YouTube. And for design inspiration, I looked at what's trending currently through Pinterest and Instagram. However, for jewelry, there are also some essential tools that you need to have. These plastic bins that I use to store all of my charms, also these pliers and wire cutting tools, and all the jewelry findings and chains that you need. For the pearl necklace, I like to use this beading board where I lay out my design. I would say the most difficult and time-consuming part of my business was finding suppliers that carry the different charms that I wanted for my designs. I could have went on a wholesale website and ordered from AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever, but I really wanted to source my stuff locally, so I went to Etsy. And Etsy has great suppliers for beads, charms, etc. And most of the time, the sellers are smaller in scale and they're pretty transparent about their process, so I really enjoyed that. And it's really crucial that your beliefs and values are aligned with the supplier that you decide to work with. If you decide to purchase wholesale, I think it's important to make sure you're getting samples before ordering a whole bucket of beads, just to make sure you can see it in person, analyze the quality, just to make sure it's up to your standard. When I ordered my rings, I wore them for a couple of weeks just to see how long they would put up before deciding to upload them on my shop. Now let's talk money, so investments, managing your finances, all that jazz. To be honest, guys, I started with zero knowledge about finance, and I'm not a financial advisor, so take this advice with a grain of salt. Before starting my business, I'd never had a paying job, so I basically used my allowances or my gift money from the past. So at the time, I had about $1,000 in my bank account, and I used that to buy the essential things like jewelry making tools, charms, along with packaging supplies like mailers, business cards, and bags. Later on, as I was making more revenue with my business, I decided to upgrade my packaging, so I got these custom made stickers. Here are the stickers I designed. I used Canva to make my logo sticker right here, and then also this butterfly one. And I ordered these at uprinting.com, which I highly recommend. And I also created these business cards on Canva. You can see in the back, it just says like thank you, and then all my socials and stuff like that. And I made the design with Canva, and I printed these out at Staples. Down the line, I invested in a rollo printer, which I highly recommend if you're getting a lot of orders. It just makes printing labels much easier and faster. As for general advice, I think it's really useful to make a list of all the supplies you need along with their prices, and from that you can figure out a budget that you need for your initial investment. And as you make more sales,
as you totally are by following my advice,
you can use Google Sheets to track all of your expenses and your sales. For bookkeeping, each time I invest for my business, I make sure to write down what I got and the price of it in a Google Sheet. I also input the amount of revenue I get each month, and Etsy has this all set up on the dashboard, so it's super easy to find. And then I make a separate cell and subtract my expenses from my revenue to just figure out how much profit I made that month. I think you can find a lot of Excel tricks and stuff like that on YouTube too. Once things started getting a little bit more serious, I got a QuickBooks subscription. This is not sponsored at all, but QuickBooks is so great because you can connect your bank account to QuickBooks, so it can basically track every expense you make. And all I have to do is go on it every month to just categorize all of my expenses. I find that this really helps you save time and file your taxes more efficiently. And I also think when you start a business, you should right away open a separate bank account for your business, just so you can make sure your personal expenses aren't getting mixed in. A lot of talking. A question I get quite often is how I price my pieces. When it comes to pricing, I take into account the cost of the material, the packaging, and the labor cost. The labor cost depends on how long it takes to create the piece. For example, this beaded necklace obviously takes longer to make than these earrings. I think it's really common as a business owner to feel bad about pricing your products too high, and I did indeed get some hate comments. But what these people don't understand is that some materials obviously cost more to supply than others. Like these pearls are real freshwater pearls, so they're obviously going to be more expensive than regular glass or plastic. And I think just being more transparent about the materials you use and what the benefits are of them can make customers just understand better. And I think also as a small business owner, it's really important to realize your worth, because it's easy to forget about the hours of effort you put into your business. Like when I was first starting out, I wasn't tracking all of the hours I spent on Instagram, researching, looking at products, finding suppliers, posting, advertising. All of these hours dramatically add up. For packaging, I really tried to stay consistent with my brand. I use a lot of neutral color tones. So I got these mailers made from 100% recycled material. And I actually initially used these pink metallic mailers because I thought they were like super cute, you know. However, I realized that packaging, you're gonna end up throwing it out anyway. I would rather opt for a more sustainable option that's better for the environment. And I also have these adorable organza bags. They have a little crescent moon, stars on it, super cute. And I think these are great too because they're reusable, unlike plastic. Just close it up and pack my orders. For jewelry packaging, I used to use those pre-made holders on Amazon, but I found out a much more cost-effective way of doing it. So I just ordered a bunch of business cards, but I just put my logo on the bottom half. For all of my necklaces, I just cut the two corners like this. And then I just place my necklace onto the card, and then I just seal the back by using tape. Super cute. For the earrings, I use this lever back puncher thing that I got from Amazon for around like $24. Just take the business card, put it in right here, press it down. There you have perfect earring card. Add a sticker, add the jewelry, and then a card, and then it's ready to go. Shipping is super simple on Etsy. Once someone places an order, you can go on your orders and shipping tab and then select print and then just print your labels. Like I said, I use this Rollo printer for labels and it just saves so much time and helps you fulfill large amounts of orders. However, the printer is $200, so I don't recommend starting out with it. Down the line, as you make orders, I think it's a great investment. And for my orders on Depop, I use SoHo, which is a shipping platform that a lot of other businesses use. So let's talk about how to grow your following, advertising, and all that stuff. I never took any marketing classes, so I would say most of my progress on social media is just from trial and error and just researching other brands. So the first thing you need to consider is who your audience is, and that would be the person who's most likely to buy your product. And I also like to think about it in this way: pretend that you're the consumer looking for the product and find out where you would most likely purchase it. So literally just go on Etsy, type up pearl necklace or whatever you're looking for, and then look at all the products and see which ones you're most drawn to, how the photography looks like. And I also think it's useful to find out different niches within your product. Like I have this entire line that's dedicated to zodiac jewelry. Zodiac signs are a huge thing, so a lot of people are interested in that. And I also have a list of marketing questions that you can use while you're doing your research. The first one, who is your ideal customer? Number 2, what kind of lifestyle does your target audience have? 3, what social platforms is your target audience most active on? Number 4, what problems are you attempting to solve with your business? Number 5, how does your target audience engage with other brands? So most of my marketing is focused on social media, and I think it's really useful to try out multiple different social media platforms to see where your brand sticks the most, because you'll never know which platform you'll go viral on. So now I'm just going to go over all of the platforms that I use and some tips and tricks I've learned along the way. So let's start with Instagram. When you make an Instagram account, you're gonna need an email. So I would advise setting up a separate business email. And then I would set up an Instagram business account because it lets you see all of your analytics. It will allow you to create ads. You can literally run these ads for $3 a day at the start. So it's really affordable, and I think you can scale up as you go. Pictures are everything on this platform. It's all about your aesthetic and how you present yourself. So for my jewelry product photos, I like to use this white foam board just because it's a really clean, simple background that really shows off the actual product. I also like to use props like books, magazines, and I also always use this little shell ceramic bowl. I use it so much. So I think if you can find props that really help your brand stand out, that would be amazing. For editing Instagram photos, I just use my phone for the pictures. I use Visco to filter them. What I do is I really turn up the exposure so the white background pops. Literally creates professional photos with minimal effort. Yeah, you can literally do anything with an iPhone. For Instagram, a mistake I made in the beginning was only posting product pictures and nothing else. I think the key to how I got more engagement on Instagram was using different kinds of posts and really trying to create value for your followers. You need to balance between product photos, aesthetic photos, and quotes that I found on Pinterest that really have the aesthetic of my brand. And I use those as spacer photos, so not everything was just about my jewelry. It was also about my brand persona in a way. I also think it's great to get pictures of people wearing your products. I gifted a few pieces to my friends and they took photos. And I also think creating graphics with Canva is a great way. Like here, I was talking about my sustainable packaging, and here I made a graphic for the bee nonprofit I was donating to at the time. Whenever you post, also make sure you're using hashtags because this helps it get to people who aren't following you, which is great. And I do have a couple of ambassadors. Basically, you send a product to an influencer and then they post for you. However, I haven't seen significant results from that, so I wouldn't rely on it completely. At the start, really focus on how your Instagram looks like, and later on you can send things to influencers and stuff like that. Since Instagram's algorithm is literally whack, I think a great way to increase engagement is to create a community of small businesses or people that motivate you. Comment on their accounts, engage with them, support them. Having that tight-knit community on Instagram really helps out. I did this at the start and I literally made so many online friends. So I think it's great to be directly with people who are going through the same thing as you are. Now let's get into everything TikTok. Not gonna lie, in the beginning, TikTok sucked for me. I literally got 50 50 views at most, very stagnant growth. And I literally was about to quit until I decided to change my strategy. So I was looking at what other successful brands were doing, and basically they showed their face in their videos and were actively communicating. They show how there's a person behind the brand. At the time, I was only showing like slideshows of my products, and it was not that great. After including myself in a few of my videos and also providing more value in my videos, I started going viral. Being more personal in your content will really drive people to your account because they realize they're actually purchasing from someone who is passionate enough to show themselves and what they're doing. So I would just say staying consistent, learning from your past mistakes, and just experimenting is really the key to grow on TikTok. Try to post every day or every other day. I know it's super hard, but I think if you batch everything in one day and then spread it out throughout the week, that really helps out. And something that's really great is that you can use your past TikToks in Reels. Just make sure to get rid of the watermark, and I do that through snaptic.com. And I've also tried out Pinterest. I'm not an expert on it, but all I did was I just posted all of my pictures that I took on Pinterest, and a few of them did do pretty well. And I think it's great because you can link to your website on the pins, and then automatically if a person sees it, they can click on it, go to your website, and there are obviously some more old-fashioned marketing techniques you can use. Like I use Etsy's email tool to send promotional emails to customers. This is very effective because social media only targets like 20 to 30% of your followers, but if you send an email, you're directly reaching out to them, so it increases your chances. Or I send coupons to past customers or to people who favorited my products. As for which platforms you want to use to sell your product, I recommend starting out with Etsy in the beginning and then transferring to a website if you want to. I think Etsy is great because it doesn't have a startup fee and millions of people are on the marketplace already, so you don't necessarily need to advertise as much as if you had a website, for example. So it's super easy to gain that audience on Etsy. However, there are still individual fees whenever you sell a product. Some website platforms that I've heard great things about include Squarespace, Wix, and Shopify. I currently don't use a website because Etsy is just more convenient for me, but in the future I'm thinking about using a website as well. A huge mistake I've made was not really promoting my products before launching, so I would definitely promote the heck out of your business in the first month before actually listing. And definitely don't lose hope on your first launch day because you're probably not going to have any reviews or any trusted brand identity in the beginning, so it's definitely going to be tougher to get those first few orders, but once you do, then people can see that you're legit and then they will come to you. Because if you think about it from a consumer standpoint, you're not going to buy anything from someone who has no reviews at all. So I also think it's useful to ask friends to maybe buy your product, give them a discount, a review. From there, people will be more willing to purchase from you. For my first month on Etsy, I literally made like 3 orders and 2 of them were from close friends. So like seriously, don't lose hope. If I can do it, you can do it. Now let's get legal. So many headaches. I don't want the IRS coming for you, so let's talk law. I definitely think it's useful to hire a professional. A lot of people use LegalZoom, but since my parents do have previous experience launching a business, they were able to help me out a little bit. I registered my business as a sole proprietorship, and I actually didn't register it right away. After a certain point, Etsy will email you and require you to input your seller's permit once you have like $600 revenue or something like that. I registered right away. Some important documents that you need to make sure you have include your seller's permit, your DBA statement, which basically registers your business name, and then your tax registration certificate. And also make sure to look up laws specific to your state because I know it varies. And I also used Etsy's seller handbook to just learn about all the different taxes because I know there's sales tax, income tax, all those stuff that my head can't wrap around. And if you can, hire an accountant. That definitely helped me just to make sure everything is running smoothly. Now let's talk about psychology, your mindset. Let's prioritize mental health, wellness, positivity, believing in yourself is easier said than done. Confidence definitely doesn't come to you overnight, and I could make a whole separate video about this. Some specific ways that I've built confidence and how I've just motivated myself to continue working on this project is through positive affirmations, and even just journaling daily has really just helped me stay on the right track. And I would also say try your best to surround yourself around people who support you, family, friends, or even an online community. I'm really grateful that my family and friends really support my business, but if you don't have anyone in your inner circle, I would look towards social media. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. And keep in mind, I just covered the surface layer. So if you guys want any videos really diving deep into like marketing or shipping or whatever, feel free to let me know in the comments because I'm more than happy to share my knowledge with you guys. I just hope this overview really helped you gain clarity on what it takes to run a business. I know for a fact I was completely overwhelmed when starting this. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram. My personal's right here and my business is right here. I always try my best to respond to every single message that I receive. And also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and turn on post notifications. And I post all kinds of content ranging from fashion, college, career. And that's all for today's video. I really hope you guys found this helpful, and I'll see you in my next one.